Hi, I'm Liev Schreiber, and I'm reading a passage from Circe. Bloom. I was just going home by Gardner Street when I happened to Corny Kelleher. Sure, they wanted me to join in with the Motts. No, by God, says I, not for old stagers like myself and yourself. Thanks be to God we have in the house. What, hey, do you follow me? Ha, ha, ha! Bloom tries to laugh. Yes, matter of fact, I was just visiting an old friend of mine there. Virag, you don't know him, poor fella, he's laid up for the past week. And we had a liquor together, and I was just making my way home. The horse neighs. The horse. Home. Corny Kelleher. Sure, it was Behan or Jarvey there that told me after we left the two commercials in Mrs. Cohn's, and I told him to pull up and get off to sea. Sober hearse driver is a specialty. Will I give him a lift home? Where does he hang out? Somewhere in Cabra, what? Bloom. No, in Sandy Cove, I believe, from what he let drop. Stephen, prone, breathes to the stars. Corny Kelleher, a squint, drawls at the horse. Bloom, in gloom, looms down. Corny Kelleher scratches his nape. Sandy Cove, he bends down and calls to Stephen. Eh? He calls again. Eh? He's covered with shavings anyhow. Take care they didn't lift anything off him. Bloom. No, I have his money and his hat here and his stick. Corny Kelleher. Ah, well, he'll get over it. No bones broken. Well, I'll shove along. I've a rendezvous in the morning, burying the dead. Safe home. The horse neighs. Home. Bloom. Good night. I'll just wait and take him along in a few. Corny Kelleher returns to the outside car and mounts it. The horse harness jingles. Corny Kelleher from the car, standing. Night! Bloom. Night! The Jarvey chucks the reins and raises his whip encouragingly. The car and horse back slowly, awkwardly, and turn. Corny Kelleher on the side seat sways his head to and fro in sign of mirth at Bloom's plight. The Jarvey joins in the mute pantomimic merriment, nodding from the farther seat. Bloom shakes his head in mute, mirthful reply. With thumb and palm, Corny Kelleher reassures that the two bobbies will allow the sleep to continue for what else is to be done. With a slow nod, Bloom conveys his gratitude as that is exactly what Stephen needs. The car jingles Tooraloom round the corner of the Tooraloom lane. Corny Kelleher again reassure-alooms with his hand. Bloom with his hand assure-alooms Corny Kelleher that he is reassure-aloom-tay. The tinkling hoofs and jingling harness grow fainter with their tooraloo-loo-loo-lay. Bloom, holding in his hand Stephen's hat, festooned with shavings and ash plant, stands irresolute. Then he bends to him and shakes him by the shoulder. Eh? Ho! There is no answer. He bends again. Mr. Daedalus! There is no answer. The name, if you call, somnambulist. He bends again, and, hesitating, brings his mouth near the face of the prostrate form. Stephen! There is no answer. He calls again. Stephen! Stephen frowns. Who? Black Panther? Vampire? He sighs and stretches himself, then murmurs thickly with prolonged vowels. Who? Drive, Fergus now, and pierce. Wood's woven shade. He turns on his left side, sighing, doubling himself together. Bloom. Poetry. Well educated. Pity. He bends again and undoes the buttons of Stephen's waistcoat. To breathe. He brushes the wood shavings from Stephen's clothes with light hand and fingers. £1.7. Not hurt anyhow. He listens. What? Stephen murmurs. Shadows. The woods. White breast, dim sea. He stretches out his arms, sighs again, and curls his body. Bloom, holding the hat and ash plant, stands erect. A dog barks in the distance. Bloom tightens and loosens his grip on the ash plant. He looks down on Stephen's face and form. Bloom communes with the night. Face reminds me of his poor mother, and the shady wood, the deep white breast. Ferguson, I think, I caught. A girl. Some girl. Best thing could happen him, he murmurs. Swear that I will always hail, ever conceal, never reveal any part or parts, art or arts, he murmurs. In the rough sands of the sea, a cable tow's length from the shore where the tide ebbs and flows. Silent, thoughtful, alert, he stands on guard, his fingers at his lips in the attitude of secret master. Against the dark wall a figure appears slowly, a fairy boy of 11, a changeling, kidnapped, dressed in an Eton suit with glass shoes and a little bronze helmet. Holding a book in his hand, he reads from right to left inaudibly, smiling, kissing the page. Bloom, wonderstruck, calls inaudibly, "Rudy!" Rudy gazes unseeing into Bloom's eyes and goes on reading, kissing, smiling. He has a delicate mauve face. On his suit he has diamond and ruby buttons. In his free left hand he holds a slim ivory cane with a violet bow knot. A white lambkin peeps out of his waistcoat pocket.